Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining. Sunil here. Welcome to the session. Can you hear me? If yes, please type yes in the chat box as a confirmation. Thank you, Vishal. Thank you, Rajiv. Thank you, Devendra. Thank you, Naveen. Thank you, Amit, Swarupa. Thank you, Deepak. Thank you all for your confirmations. Let us stop the chat. So we are moving on to the practicals of Linux. In this session, you'll understand how can we create a file, how can we remove a file, how can we create a directory, how can we delete a directory, how can we go to previous directories, how can we create these kind of nested directories, rmdir, remove directory, rm-r, you'll understand the difference, long list, what happens when a file name starts with dot, how to see hidden files, how to create hidden directories, list, combination of listing options, how to copy a file. So these are all our plan for today's session. These are all our plan for today's session. Before moving on to today's session, any questions on the concepts what we have discussed in the previous session? Please raise your hand. In our previous session, we have logged into AWS. We have created a new Linux machine. I hope you remember. Let's also log into AWS. Let's experience the machine what we have created. I think the machine what we have created yesterday is stopped also. Let's log into AWS account. Let's log into AWS account. Yes. Swarupa, 1 minute, please. Let's log into AWS account. EC2 instances. I hope you remember we have created one instance and we have stopped the instance. This is the machine one what we have created yesterday. The machine status is stopped. Let us start the instance. How can we start the machine? Select the machine instance state. There's an option called start. This will take 1 minute for the machine to get started. You can see successfully started. Now the machine is in pending state. This will take some time to get started. Yes, any questions? Swarupa, I can see you have dropped your hand. That's fine. The machine is in running. The machine is in running. How can I connect to this machine? How can I connect to this machine? What is the terminal we use? The terminal what we use to connect to the machine is putty. I already have downloaded putty. I hope you remember. I think I have downloaded in the downloads folder putty.exe. What are the credentials required? Let's open putty. What are the credentials? What are the details required to connect? You need to have the host name. Host name is nothing but the DNS. Where can you get the details? You can get the details when you click on select the machine. We have an option called connect. We have an option called connect. Perfect. This is the public DNS. Copy this DNS. DNS is required. What is the username? Ubuntu is the username. And instead of password, we need to provide the key pair. Key pair is nothing but file with extension .pem. I hope you remember. We have downloaded the key pair PPK file. Where did we download it? I remember we have downloaded in the Sunil Devops in the desktop in the 6 p.m. folder. So this is the key pair which we have downloaded. So using this key pair, we'll be connecting to that particular Linux machine. So let's do that. This is the DNS. Under SSH, under authentication, under credentials, provide the private key. Private key is nothing but your PPK file. So I'll be browsing to this particular location. In my desktop, Sunil DevOps 6 p.m. batch. This is the PPK file. The moment you click on open, it will ask you the username. It will ask you the username. The username is perfect. I have participants. I have successfully connected to the Linux machine. This is what we have learned in our today's session. Yes, Barupa, good evening. How are you doing today?
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yes, your question, please.
I have one doubt too. Here we are using the PPK file.
Correct. Here we are using the PPK file.
That PPK file is used for all instances or particular PPK file we can create for particular instance.
Okay. So here for this particular Swarupa, for this particular instance,
Okay.
for this particular mission, we are using one PPK file. Agree? This particular DevOps Best 262 is the PPK file. If say you create one more new mission, okay, you have to create a new PPK file. That's one option, or you can use an existing PPK file. One PPK file, you can use it for connecting to multiple missions. It's up to you. Both options are available. Okay. Okay, Swarupa.
Okay.
Thank you. Perfect. I have successfully connected to the Linux machine. Perfect. Let's get started about today's session. Perfect. Where is our agenda? This is our agenda. Let's get started. How can we create a file in Linux? How can we create a file in Linux? We have let's say I want to create a file. Let's say I want to create a file with the name F1. Let's say I want to create a file with the name F1. How can we create a file in Linux? Whenever you want to create a file in Linux, you have to use a command called cat, use the greater than symbol, mention the file name which you want to create. Cat, use the greater than symbol, mention the file name which you want to create. This is how you can create a file. Okay, so let's do that. Let me show you how to create a file. You can see here, cat, greater than symbol, mention the file name which you want to create. I want to create a file with the name F1. The file gets created. Control will enter into the file. Control will enter into the file. I'll write some content into the file. For example, good evening. This is my content in my file. Why do we create a file? To save some data. Good evening. Welcome to DevOps. Thank you. This is the 3 lines of content which I want to write it into my file. How to come out of the cat command? If you want to come out of the cat command, so you have to use Control D. The key sequence Control D is used to come out of the cat command. I'm done with creating a file. Participants, I'm done with creating a file. What is the name of the file I have created? F1. Similarly, can I create one more file, F2? Yes, you can do that. Cat greater than, mention the file which you want to create, F2. Write some contents into the file. And then how to come out of the cat command, Control D to come out of the cat command. I'm done with creating 2 files, F1 and F2. F1 and F2. How many files I have created? 2 files I have created. How can we see list of all the files? We have created a first file, F1. You have created second file. You can create a number of files, no doubt on that. Whenever you want to see list of all the files, whenever you want to see a list of all the files in Linux, we have a command called ls, stands for list. In Linux, we have a command called ls, stands for list. List will show you list of all the files. Please observe here. ls will show you list of all the files. How many files are there available? We have 2 files available, F1 and F2. This is how you can create files in Linux. I have created 2 files, F1 and F2, and I'm in a position to see list of all the files. Done. I'm done with creating a file. Clear? Clear about this? Perfect. Next, let's move on to the next concept, creating a directory. Let's move on to the next concept. I want to create a directory. Directory is something similar to folder. In Windows, we call it as folder. In Linux, we call it as directory. I want to create a directory. I want to create a directory. How can we create a directory? I want to create a directory with the name D1. This is the name of the directory which I want to create. D1 is a directory which I want to create. If you want to create a directory, we have a command called mkdir. We have a command called mkdir, stands for make directory. Mkdir stands for make directory, which helps you to create a directory. So let's go ahead and create a directory. Mkdir followed with D1. So directory gets created. Let's do that. mkdir d1 participants. You can see here the directory with the name d1 has been created. ls previous list command will showing you only 2 files. Now list command will show you 2 files and 1 directory. Let me increase the font size for better visibility. Directory has been created. What is the name of directory? D1. So how many files you have created? 2 files we have created and 1 directory we have created. Perfect. Okay. So this is how you can create a directory. This is how you have created directory. Creating a file and removing a file. Okay, we have not learned how can we remove a file. I've learned how can we create a directory and how can we create a file and how can we create a directory. Okay. Let's learn how can we remove a file. Let's learn how can we remove a file. So we have a file F2. I want to remove a file. Whenever you want to remove a file, we have a Linux command, rm stands for remove. Whenever you want to remove a file, we have a command called rm, which helps you to remove a file. So rm followed is mentioned the file in which you want to remove. I want to remove my second file F2. The file gets removed. Please observe here. Rm remove. Mention the file F2. The file gets removed. Now, if you see, the file F2 has been removed. We are left out with only one file F1 and one directory. Remove is a command to remove the file. Can we remove the directory? Can we remove the directory? mkdir, which helps you to make the directory. rmdir, which helps you to remove the directory. mkdir will help you to make directory. rmdir stands for removing a directory. So rmdir mention the directory which you want to remove, d1. The directory has been removed. At least now you are left out with only one file. So participants, what did we learn now? We have learned how can we create a file. How can we create a directory? We have created files F1 and F2. We have learned how can we create a directory. We have learned how can we remove a file. We also have learned how can we remove directories. CLEAR helps you to clear the screen. CLEAR, which helps you to clear the screen. Perfect. Next. Please observe. Okay. Look at my requirement. Please look at my requirement. Please look at my requirement. I want to create a directory D1. Inside the directory, I want to create a directory D1, and inside the directory, I want to create a file with the name F10. Is it possible? Right now, we have a file F1. That's okay. I want to create one more directory D1. Can I place files inside the directory? No doubt. Directory is nothing but folder. In Windows, how can we create files inside the folder? In the same way, I want to create a file F10 inside a directory D1. Can we do it? Can we do it? Yes, you can do it. Step 1, you have to create a directory. How can we create a directory? We already have learned it. Make directory, mkdir. Every session is important, my dear friends. Do not think that Linux commands are very easy. You can ignore these Linux commands. I'll be seriously learning once we start the first tool of DevOps that is called as Git. Don't be under impression. That impression. Every session is important. If it is not important, I would have not taken this particular sessions. If you are okay, but comfortable with Linux, okay, then you can ignore this. But in case if you're, it's always good to revise the concepts to get in touch with Linux. I want to create a directory D1. Okay, so that's first step. And inside the directory, I want to create a file F10. Can I do it? Yes, mkdir D1 directory got created. Directory got created. Unless you can see the directory that got created. Very good. Next. I want to create a file inside the directory. If you want to create a file inside the directory, first you have to enter into the directory. You have to enter into the directory. Just very important point. I have a command called pwd. We have a command called pwd, stands for print working directory, not password. We have a command called pwd, stands for print working directory. It will show you the current path in which you're working. Currently, you're working in /home/ubuntu. This is your current path. /home/ubuntu is your current path. Now the file is available in this Ubuntu. The directory is also available in /home/ubuntu. In this particular path, the files and directories are available. Now what I want to do, I want to create a file fn, but not here. I want to create a file inside the directory. So what you have to do, first you need to enter into the directory. You need to change the directory. We have a command called cd, stands for change directory. Mention the directory you want to point. I want to point to D1. So this will help you to change to the D1. So let me do that cd D1. Now you're pointing inside D1. If you want to confirm pwd print working directory, previously you are in /home/ubuntu. Now you are in /home/ubuntu. Inside Ubuntu, you are now pointing to D1. Inside the D1, I want to create a file fn. Yes, you can do that. Cat, how to create a file? Use greater than symbol, mention the file which you want to create. Mention the file you want to create. So write some contents into the file and how to come out of the cat command, Control D to come out of the perfect. Got it, my difference? Got it? I have created a file. Participants, I have created a file. The name of the file is fn. Where did you create it? You have to create it inside the D1 directory. Clear? Am I clear? Please respond in the chat box. Am I clear in showing you the process of creating files? Am I clear in explaining you the process of creating files, the process of removing the files, the process of creating directory, and the process of creating a file inside the directory? The process of creating the file inside the directory. Yes, Amit, good evening. Yes, your question, please.
Yeah, good evening, Sunil. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
So I just wanted to know one point. What is that pwd command? It's password or something else?
Print working directory.
Print working directory. Thank you. Thank you, Sunil.
It will print working directory will show you the current path in which you are working.
Okay, sure, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Vishal.
Yes, ma'am. Just want to check. So if now we have created a directory, inside directory we created a folder, right? One.
Inside
So-
the directory, we have created a file, not folder.
Okay.
We
Yeah,
have
file.
created a file.
So if we are going and deleting directly the directory, so will it work or first we need to?
We'll see that. We'll see that now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what we are pointing now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Vishal, can we have a talk? Okay, for 2 minutes.
Yes, ma'am.
Please look at this. PWD, what does it show? Print working directory.
Working directory. Yeah.
It will show the current path in which you are working. Currently,
Yes.
you're working in /home/ubuntu. Inside Ubuntu, you're pointing to D1. Am I right?
Yes.
Now listen to my statement. D1 is a directory. Yes or no?
Yeah. Correct.
Yes. For D1, the parent is Ubuntu. Agree? For
Yeah.
D1 is under Ubuntu directory. So D1 is under the Ubuntu directory. So for D1, the parent is Ubuntu.
Ubuntu.
For Ubuntu, the parent is
Home.
home. For home, the parent is /. The topmost directory, the rootmost directory is /. Participants. The topmost directory, like in Windows, we have C drive. Okay, the first starts with what we say, partition starts with C drive. Am I right, Vishal?
Yes.
Something similar to it. In Linux, the topmost directory is root. Under the root, we have a directory called home. Under home, we have a directory called Ubuntu. Under Ubuntu, we have a directory called D1. Participants, for D1, the parent is Ubuntu. For Ubuntu, the parent is home. Perfect. Now, participants, my point is, I want to go to the parent directory. Right now, I'm pointing to D1. I want to move to the parent directory. Whenever you want to move to the parent directory, CD double dot. CD double dot will help you to move to the parent directory. Please observe the magic. CD double dot. Now PWD. Now PWD. Vishal, now you're not pointing to D1. You are now pointing to its parent directory, that is Ubuntu.
Ubuntu.
Whenever you want to go to one step above in the hierarchy, You want to go to immediate parent directory, then you have to use a command called cd dot dot. And in this particular Ubuntu directory, we have one file and one directory. And is this directory empty?
No, we have
D1, is it empty? No, D1 is not empty. D1 is having a file F10.
Okay.
We have learned how can we remove the directory. If mkdir stands for make directory, we have a command called rmdir. We have already executed this, Vishal. This will help you to remove the directory. I want to remove the directory D1. Let's check whether this will work or not. rmdir followed to the directory D1. This particular command will fail, participants, unable to fail to remove directory. The reason is directory is not empty. So remove directory will work. No doubt this command will work only if the directory is empty. But in our case, our directory is not empty. Directory is having some files. In such case, if you want to remove the directory, we have a command called rm-r. R stands for recursive. rm-r, and you have to mention the directory D1. So what will happen when you write rm-r? R stands for recursive. First, inside the files, if there are any files and folders, that will be deleted. And finally, what will happen? The directory will also be removed. Okay, so let's do that. rm-r followed to the directory D1. So is it removed? Yes, now we can see LF, the directory has been removed. So participants, in two ways we can remove the directory. In two ways we can remove the directory. Okay, rmdir, rm-r. Remove directory rm will work only when the directory is empty. If the directory is not empty, then you have to go for -r stands for recursive option. Clear, Vishal?
Yes, sir. Got it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Perfect. Okay. So what I want to do, please observe here. I want to create 4 directories: D1, D2, D3, D4. I want to create 4 directories. Observe the scenario. I want to create a directory D1. Inside D1, I want to create D2. Inside D2, I want to create D3. Inside D3, I want to create D4. This is what the hierarchy which I want to create. This is what the structure which I want to create: D1, D2, D3, D4. Right now, clear? To clear the screen. Let's do the list of all the files. We have only one file F1. There are no directories. So I want to create this hierarchical structure. Can we do it? Can we do it? Is there anybody will help me to provide me the list of commands to create this kind of series of directories? Is there anybody ready? Please raise your hand. Perfect. Cedric.
Yeah, you can use mkdir -p.
First, create a directory.
Space -p.
Not space D1. First, create a directory, participants.
No, I want to create
the
4. I want to create the 4 directory in one time.
In one time. Okay, I don't want to do it on one time because there are many newcomers in this particular session. I want to do it one by one. So first step, I want to create make directory D1. So this will help you to create a directory. So let's do that.
Sure.
Because they're new beginners. Okay, I don't want to make them complex. mkdir. First directory gets created. I want to enter into the directory. So Cedric, how can we enter into the directory? We have a command called cd change directory. Point to D1, and inside the D1 create one more directory. D2, point to D2. Inside D2 create one more directory, D3. Enter into D3. mkdir create one more directory, D4. cd D4. PWD stands for print working directory. Participants, please observe here. We are created under /home/Ubuntu. We have created directory D1. Inside D1, we have created D2. Under D2, we have created D3. Under D3, we have created D4. So like this, participants, we should be comfortable creating directories and working with directories. Okay. For D4, participants, for D4, the parent directory is D3. For D3, the parent is D2. For D2, the parent is D1. For D1, the parent is Ubuntu. For Ubuntu, the parent is home. For home, the Ubuntu parent is slash. CD double dot, what happens? We already have learned CD double dot will help you to go to immediate parent directory. From D4, you'll be jumping to D3. I don't want to go to immediate parent directory. I directly want to go to Ubuntu. I directly want to point to slash home slash Ubuntu. When you directly point to specific directory, so write CD and mention the complete path right from the root slash home slash Ubuntu. So that's it. So like now you're now pointing to slash home slash Ubuntu. So this is how. Okay, so if you want to go to immediate parent directory, use CD double dot. If you want to go to specific directory, write complete mention the complete path. So this is how you have to play around. This is how you can play around with files and directories. We have learned how can we create a file, how can we remove a file, how can we create a directory, how can we delete a directory, how can we go to previous directory, how to navigate between the directories. We have learned how can we remove directory, and difference between remove directory and remove rm-r. Next. Perfect. Next. Very important point. Very important point. Let's clear the screen. I'm pointing to slash home slash Ubuntu. Right now we have one file and one directory. I have one file and one directory. I want to create one more file. Can I do it? Yes, you can. Cat, use greater than symbol, mention the file which you want to create, F2. So write some content whichever you want it and Control D to come out of the cat command. So we have two files, F1 and F2. We have two files, F1 and F2. Now my point is, I want to see the data present in F1. I want to read the data present in the file F1. Can I display the data? Can I read the data present in the file F1? You can do it by using the same command, cat. Don't use greater than symbol. You have to use greater than symbol when you're creating a new file. Now, my plan is not to create a new file. I want to read the data present in the existing file. So just write F1. This will help you to read the data. Good evening, welcome to DevOps, and thank you. Are you able to see the data? Yes. If you want to see the data in the present in the file F2, so just write cat F2. You can also see the data present in this file. Okay, use greater than symbol only when you want to create a new file. Otherwise, just write cat symbol if you want to read the data present in the existing file. Super. Okay. ls to see list of all the files. We have file 1 and file 2. I want to create one more file, F3. I want to create one more file, F3. Participants in Linux, we have two ways to create a file. Participants in Linux, we have two ways to create a file. One way to create a file is use cat symbol greater than mention the document that you want to create. So this is one way to create a file. There is one more way to create a file by using touch command. Even touch command will help you to create a new file. I want to show you how can we create a new file by using the touch command. Please look at the screen here. We are using a command called touch. Mention the file you want to create. I want to create a file with the name F3. Look at the response. The response is file created. If you want to see ls, you can see the new file has been created. Similarly, if you want to create one more file, you can write touch followed with F4. The file has been created. You can see F3, F4 are the files which are created by using touch command. F1, F2 are the files which you have created by using cat command. I hope you have noticed the difference. I hope you already have observed the difference. When you create a file by using cat command, I hope you have observed the difference. When you create a file by using cat command, what's happening? The file gets created, control will enter into the file. You're writing some contents like good evening, welcome to DevOps and all those stuffs. And you're using a command called Control D. And you're using a command called Control D to come out of the cat command. This is all happens when you write a file, create a file by using cat command. Whereas in case of touch command, is it asking you to enter some contents? No, immediately you're getting the dollar prompt back. That's the difference. It is not asking you to enter the contents into the file. Immediately you're getting the prompt back and you get that file gets created. The point you have to understand is that when you create a file by using touch command, the file gets created and it is an empty file. F3 is an empty file. F4 is an empty file. So whenever you want to create an empty file, sometimes the scenario is you want to create first files and later you want to enter some contents into the file. First, you want the file to be available, that's all. And later you will edit the file and you can write the contents into the file. So whenever you want a file to be created, yes, immediately you can do it within a fraction of a second by using the touch command, the file gets created. So in Linux, if anybody asks you in how many ways, if anybody asks you in how many ways we can create a file, so these are the two ways. By using cat command, the file gets created. The other one is by using touch command, the file gets created. Clear? Clear about this? ls to see list of all the files as well as directories. Very good. Perfect. Let's move on. Let's move on. I want to discuss about long list. I want to discuss about long list. This ls stands for list. ls stands for list. List will show you list of all the files. List will show you list of all the files. I don't want a list of all the files. I want more information about the files, like date and time when the file has been created. I want more information like date and time when the file has been created. The size of the file. Who is the owner of the file? What are the permissions given to this particular file? I want more information. ls list will just give you short information. We have one directory and 1, 2, 3, 4 files in one directory. That's all. It gives you the directory names and the file names. That's all. You want more information about the file size, the date and time when the file has been created, who is the owner of the file, what are the permissions the file is having. File may have read-write permissions. Anyways, we'll discuss later. When you want more information about the file, whenever you want more information about the file, so we have a command called ls-l, L for long, elaborate. The same information, 4 files and 1 directory, you will get it. Can you see here? F1, F2, F3, F4, 4 files and 1 directory. You're getting the same list of files, but you are getting additional information. Considering the file F1, consider the file F1. Are you able to see these are the permissions of the file? Are you able to see the permissions? You're getting more information. This is the owner of the file. This is the size of the file. The file is 41 bytes. This is the date and time when the file has been created. Are you able to get more information? Not just list, my dear friends. Are you able to get more in detail information? You can do it by using long list. ls is a normal list. It's also called as short list. It just gives you a list of names of files and directories. ls-l will give you long list. You'll get more metadata information, more information about the size of the file, date and time when the file has been created, permissions of the file. All this information, you will get it by using long list options. By using long list option. I hope I am very clear in explaining you the concept of long list. I hope I'm very clear in explaining you the concept of long list. Next. Okay. I want to create a file. Participants, please have a look at it. Let me clear the screen. clear is the command. Clear command will help you to clear the screen. Very good. List will show you just a list. I want to create, we have F1, F2, F3, F4. Very good. I want to create a file F5. I want to create a file, not just .fi. I want to create a file with the name .fi. I want to create a file with the name .fi. Can I do it? Yes, let's try. This time I want to quickly create it by using the touch command. Touch, mention the file which you want to create, .fi. What happens? The file gets created. The file gets created. Let's experience it. Touch .fi participants, the file got created. ls. Interestingly, are you able to see the new file which you have just now created? Interestingly, are you able to see the new file which now we have created? No. You're not able to see the file .fi, the .fi which you have created, because in Linux, when a file name starts with dot, it is a hidden file. It's not normal file, my dear friends. It's a hidden file. Super. Participants. Participants, are you able to see the file which you have created? No. Because when a file name starts with dot, it's a hidden file. Similarly, I want to create a directory with the name .d2. If a directory name starts with dot, it's also hidden directory. So mkdir .d2 directory successfully created, but you will not get the output in the result. The directory is not displayed because it is a hidden directory. So in Linux, participants, in Linux, when a file name starts with dot, it's a hidden file. When a file name starts with dot, it's a hidden file. When a directory name starts with dot, it's a hidden directory. The normal ls command is not capable of showing hidden files. It cannot show you hidden files. It cannot show you hidden directories. It cannot. If you want to see the hidden files as well as hidden directories, the command what you have to use is ls-a. A stands for all files. Or A stands for all. All is refers to all files, normal files, as well as hidden files. Got it? Got it? ls cannot show you hidden files. ls-a stands for all. Can you see? Interestingly, can you see the file which you have created .fi? Which you have created, are you able to see the output .fi? Very good. You have created directory D2. Are you able to get the directory D2? Very good. Super. Interestingly, for our observation, there are few more predefined files with our extension with not extension, with starting with dot. That's okay. Don't ignore it. But are you in a position? Are you in a position to show the hidden files also? Yes. So very important point. What are the listing options we have learned? What are the listing options we have learned? The first option we have used is list. Just a normal list will give you a list of all the files and directories. ls-l stands for long list. L stands for long list. It will give you more information. The same files, you'll get more information about the date and time when the file has been created, file size, file permissions. That is about long list. ls-a will give you just a list and as well as hidden files also. Now you can use a combination of ls-la. A stands for all files, but you want more information. What is the hidden? When is the date and time when the hidden directory has been created? What is the file size of the hidden file? What is the size of the hidden file? What is the size of the hidden directory? What are the permissions of the hidden file? If you want to get that information, you can use a combination of ls-la. I hope I'm very clear. Look at this. ls-la. Long list of normal files as well as hidden files. Got it? ls-la, long list of normal files as well as hidden files. Okay. So you have three combination of options now. Just a list with long list with the hidden files, list with long list in combination with the hidden files. So what happens when a file name starts with dot? When a file name starts with dot, it's a hidden file. Similarly, what happens when a directory name starts with, how can we create a hidden directory? When a directory name starts with dot, it becomes a hidden directory. The combination of listing options we have learned. The combination of listing options we have learned. Perfect. Next, look at this. Please look at this. List. Yes, we are able to see list of files and directories. I want to see the content present in the file F1. You can cat F1, perfect. It's a 3 lines of content. Good evening, welcome to DevOps. Your file F1 is having 3 lines of content. Now I want to copy this file. I want to copy this file. I want to copy a file. In Windows, we have a copy paste option, right? Whenever you want to create a duplicate file. I want to copy this file. Which file I want to copy? I want to copy a file. I want to copy a file. F1 is the source. And I want to paste it in. I want to create a duplicate file with the name F5. The same content, I want to have it in the file F5. The source is F1 and destination is F5. Can we do it? Can we copy a file? Yes, you can by using a command called CP stands for copy. We have a command called CP stands for copy. Copy command will help you to copy a file from source to destination. My source is F1 and my destination is F5. Perfect. Look at this. CP stands for copy. Source F1, destination is F5. The copy command has been successfully executed. ls, you can see here, this is the file F1 and previously there was no F5. So you can see file has been created. If you want to read the content in the file F5, cat F5, are you able to get the same 3 lines of content? Good evening, welcome to DevOps and thank you. Are you able to get the same content? Yes, you have done successfully copied. You have successfully copied from F1 to F5. So whenever you want to copy a file, we have a command called copy. Clear? Next. Few important commands, few more commands. PWD, print working directory, which will show you the current path in which you're working. Next. Perfect. Yes, Richard. Your question, please. I can see your hand raised. You are now allowed to unmute. If you have no questions, please drop your hand. If you have no questions, please drop your hand. Okay, I have one more
Sorry,
important.
it was an error, sir.
Okay, no problem. Perfect. We have a command called who am I? We have a command in Linux, who am I, which will show you the current user using which you have connected. It will show you the current user using which I have connected. So we have a command called who am I. So currently you're working with Ubuntu user. When you want to verify using which user you're working, you are working with Ubuntu user. So who am I is a command which will show you the current user. PWD is a command which helps you to show the print working, the current path in which you're working. Date, which will print you the current date. Okay, current date. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Yes. Okay. Yes, Vishal. How are you?
Sunil, so now suppose if I want to make any changes in the existing file in the content, so do I have any
Good.
command?
Yes. Let's say, Vishal, coming to your question, we have a file F1. Your file is having 3 lines of content. Okay.
Yeah.
Good evening. You don't want good evening. You want good morning to be written. You want to edit the file.
Yes.
Agree?
Yeah.
Whenever you want to edit a file, we have an editor called VI. Okay.
Okay.
There is an editor called VI, stands for Visual Editor. So you can, using this editor, you can open the file and you can edit the contents. It's very, very easy. Anyways, in the next session, I'll show you how can we use this particular editor. There are few commands you need to know when you're dealing with the editor. I will also show you how can we edit the contents into the particular file. Okay, Vishal?
Sure, Sunil. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Once you're done with your question, please drop your hand. Yes, Reno, good evening.
Very good evening, sir.
Yep.
So next session, we're still doing Linux commands, sir, or it's a different one?
Linux commands is not yet completed. Tomorrow we'll work with permissions. If you see, this is the file F1. Am I right, Srinu?
Correct, sir.
These are all what? These are all permissions.
Yeah, permission.
A file can have R, W, X. R stands for read, W stands for write, and X stands for execute. Now, what is this permissions? Okay, how can we change the permissions are very, very important. So that's our plan for tomorrow. Tomorrow's session is all about dealing with file permissions, working with package management, very, very important points, Srinu.
Sure,
So
sir.
tomorrow
Sir,
also we will be
small
continuing
question.
with Linux. Okay.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Thank you, sir. So basically, AWS, how many services you will cover, sir, actually? At least minimum 15 to 20 services you will be covering?
Close to 20 to 22 services. Not I, we have one more instructor, Mr. Ankit. He will be dealing with AWS course.
Okay, okay. So you'll be covering DevOps, sir?
I will be covering DevOps. Yes, you are right. This is the DevOps course.
Okay, DevOps means like DevOps tools, basically like Terraform, Kubernetes.
Correct. Jenkins, Ansible, Kubernetes,
Okay.
Git. Okay, so these are covered. This is not
So
an
the same
AWS.
fees, what and all you mentioned, sir. Sorry for asking. So is the same fees.
The fees is
the same thing cover for both the lecturers, or we need to pay separately for Ankita?
separate courses. Both are completely independent and different courses. You can see.
Okay, okay. So this
One
one,
minute, one minute,
AWS, how much will cover?
1 minute. I'm coming to your point. This
Yeah.
is the
Yeah.
where is our this is the DevOps course right now, which is going on.
Yes,
Can you
sir.
see we have a buy now button? The course fees is 6,499.
Okay, sir. So this one
This is for
primarily.
DevOps. This will cover DevOps.
Okay, but in AWS, what you will cover, sir, as part of this course?
1 minute. I'm coming.
Sorry, sir.
1 minute.
Maybe content you can go to. Content.
1 minute. AWS Solutions Architect. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Course content.
Yeah, your content you go, sir. So I'm interested in your content. I want to join your course. So
Okay.
just want to, how much percentage is AWS is covering?
This is course content of.
Yeah.
This is not AWS DevOps. Approximately 45 days. Okay.
Okay. So
We are starting with Linux. Okay. And then we'll proceed with Git, Maven, Jenkins, Docker, Kubernetes. We also discussed Docker Swarm.
Yeah.
We discuss about Docker networking. And then we move on to orchestration tool, that is Kubernetes. After Docker, we'll discuss about Kubernetes. We'll discuss Ansible, and then we'll discuss about Terraform. Okay. These are the tools which are covered in our DevOps course.
Okay.
Are you in the WhatsApp group?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In the WhatsApp group description, you can see the course content
Okay.
link.
And AWS, you are not covering anything, sir. At least storage, some basic services, at least 1 or 2 services like that.
See, this is the DevOps course. We'll just speak about
Okay,
EC2.
got it.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
all. Mhm.
But
Okay.
when you will start your AWS, because I am interested in your course actually. AWS, are you starting any new batch, sir?
Right now, I'm not starting new batch. That's the reason we have one more instructor. He's taking care of the AWS load and taking one batch.
Okay, no problem.
Okay,
Sir.
Srinu, thank you.
Thank you.
Participants, this is day 3. Please complete the payments if you have determined and decided to enroll for the course. Because even no doubt tomorrow is also a demo session, but take a decision and make the enrollment. Because once the demos has been completed, anyways, we'll update you, but the meeting link will change and the meeting link will be given to only the paid candidates. So please take the decision and complete the payment formalities to continue the sessions. Yes, Hema, good evening. I can see your
Hi.
hand. Yes, Hema.
Sunil, as you said, cat and touch command are used for creating the files. You created the hidden files by using the touch command. Can we
Yes.
create cat command by using the
Yes,
hidden files?
correct. You can greater than mention the file name dot. Rest of the
Okay,
things will
after
be the same.
greater than command, you can
Correct.
use the dot.
Dot.
Okay, Sunil.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay, remains the same. Thank you. Once you're done, please drop your hand, Hema. Yes, Amit.
Sunil, I just wanted to know that how many major and minor projects we are going to cover overall in this course?
There's
Means
it's
to
nothing,
create-
it's nothing like major and minor. Okay,
Uh-huh.
it's not an academic course. So whatever we are learning, showing you in the workshops or in the project, that you can showcase in the interview. Okay, because in the interview, they'll also check the subject knowledge and they'll ask you, can you give me a scenario? How did you use this particular tool? I mean, are you understanding? The scenario-based explanations will be there in the project level. Okay. We already have completed 4 projects. We are planning up with the 5th project now in the month of February. Okay.
So, what will be about the 2-tier and 3-tier application architecture? Means anything we are covering that part?
Where did you get the title 2-tier and 3-tier architecture in the projects?
No. So, not into the projects. It is not
Mhm.
there in our syllabus. So I
Mhm.
just some of the other like the YouTube videos which I was going
Mhm.
through.
Mhm.
It is mentioned about 2-tier and 3-tier application architecture. Is it something we are covering it up, or is it a part of in some of the content?
That's not the part of DevOps, but that's a part of one workshop. Look at this.
Uh-huh.
Under playlist, there's a playlist called Cloud Projects. Okay, you're talking about this one. Amit, can you see here? DevOps implementation. DevOps implementation on a multi-tier web application. Okay. So if you can
Yes.
listen to this, not now, once you complete at least 70% of the course, you can easily understand this. Okay. They're referring to
Okay,
this
sure.
particular point. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you, sir.
Please drop your hand once you're done with your questions. Mohammed. Mustaq. Yes, Rajiv.
Sunil, hi, good evening.
Good evening, Rajiv.
The thing is, I'm familiar with the Nano file editor. Is it pre-installed in this VM, or do we need to install that?
You need to install it. Instead, use VI. That's more better. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Sunil.
Vishal. Yes, good evening.
Yeah, Sunil. So what are the commands what we have done today, right?
Mhm.
So are only the basics commands, or these are the commands which will be enough for us to learn the DevOps?
Tomorrow also we are learning commands. Okay,
Yeah.
or not yet completed. Okay, even tomorrow we learn commands.
Sure.
Okay, so that's enough. Okay, whatever we are learning, that's enough for DevOps professionals.
Sure.
Mustaq.
Yes, sir. This is Mustaq here.
Yes, I can see your hand raised. Any question?
Good evening, sir.
Yes, any question?
Yes, sir. I want to ask about AWS. When it will start?
AWS is starting on 19. It's already started 19 January. It's not much late. Only I think 5
Sir,
sessions has been completed.
Sir, it is connected to AWS or DevOps.
Which one?
It will be one, sir.
Repeat your question.
Sir, it will be connected with DevOps and AWS. Both are same or different, sir.
Which will be both are same what it is. This AWS is completely different. If you look at the course content of AWS, it's completely different. AWS is all about AWS services. DevOps is all about DevOps tools. Both are completely different. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir, I want to know about the course fee, sir,
For what
of
course?
AWS.
AWS is 2,950, close to 3,000.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank
Thank
you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. I hope you have enjoyed the session. See tomorrow. I hope you have enjoyed the session. See tomorrow for much more learning on Linux. And then if time permits, we'll discuss about the introduction to Git. That's our plan for tomorrow's session. Until then, have a good time. Thank you very much.